Let's talk about photography, in particular, mobile phone, smartphone photography. This is a topic that is slowly getting more and more interesting to me, and not because cameras are getting better and better and better, and they have gotten to an unbelievable point where our smartphone cameras are just unbelievable. They're really, really, really good. It's not because of that, because honestly, that's kind of made them less interesting to me because I could walk across my room, open up a drawer with like 15 phones in it, and most of them have a serviceable camera. So it's the bleeding edge at this point where the interest is. To me, what is becoming more and more interesting about smartphone photography is the role of editing, and of course, that editing being augmented by AI. It's what we're doing with the pictures after we have taken them. For the last couple of years, I've been using something akin to Magic Eraser, whether it's Magic Eraser or Retouch on the Google Play Store before they switched to a monthly subscription and absolutely ruined all interest I had in continuing to promote that application. These apps are incredibly useful, and by and large, I use them in ways most people would find to be rather innocuous. Would you, looking at this picture, know that a whole bunch of things had been erased from it with Retouch? No, you would not. Let's zoom into this towel. Would you know now? No, you would not. But the reality is, those of us that are dog owners, a blanket with this texture, this soft texture wrapped around a dog is going to be what? Covered in dog hairs. And it was. So I went in and I removed them. And I'm not talking one or two. I'm talking like 24 of them. It just looked weird to me. This was unsightly, so I removed them. By doing this, we open ourselves up to this conversation of what is photography? Is it meant to be accurate representations of the real world? If it is, how much leeway do we give ourselves? How much can we change these photos before they stop being representative of the real world? And at that point, is that a bad thing? Let me show you another picture that I took of this absolute mothership looking storm. This photo, I cropped it, but it's also Magic Erasered or retouched to absolute oblivion. This field was full of things. There was a fence along this way. There were houses all along this street, and I deleted them all. Now, if I zoom in and you know that you're now looking for something like that, you can begin to see potentially some weird things going on, right? But if we zoom back out, and I don't tell you anything, I posted this online and nobody said a word. Nobody noticed anything at all. If you zoom in now knowing, yeah, you can tell. This I did a lot of work, okay? There was a lot of stuff removed from this picture. And in my mind, they just detracted from the thing I wanted everyone to be looking at. It just made it a cleaner looking image. Again, have I crossed some sort of line at this point? Here's another one. And yes, we're going somewhere with this. There is an end point in this video. This is another one that most people would look at and wouldn't think a whole lot of. When I snapped this picture, though, that crow was a little bit far to the right. I was a little too slow getting out and taking the picture. It took off, and that crow was actually, if I zoom in, you can probably see that's where the crow was. And I took that crow and I moved it over here. This was not done with AI, but we're going somewhere. I moved the crow over to center it better, and now I think that's a really, really cool looking shot. Is that wrong of me to have done that? Does that detract from it? That's not really what happened, right? The crow wasn't there when I took the picture. Is that a bad thing? Now, by the time this video is out, the Google Pixel 8 will have been fully announced, and things like this will be things that we are talking about. In this clip here, what you can see is taking pictures, and you just can't quite get a shot where everyone is looking forward and smiling. So what the Pixel 8 is going to be able to do is go through and grab different faces that it saw while you were taking that picture, and then you can pick those faces. It will put them in the frame, and now you have a shot where everyone is posing correctly. I talked about this feature in a prior video, and a lot of people get a little upset, and they said, this is too far. We've taken things too far. Okay, we're taking a picture, and now we have a photo when it's all said and done, It is not what happened. This never existed. There never was a moment when all of these people were looking forward and smiling. And of course, this is something that people already do. If you pay for some photographer to photograph your wedding and they take a bunch of pictures, right? And someone blinks or something, they'll go in and they'll fix that stuff. No one really has a problem with it there, but we're talking about proliferation. We're talking about at just the tip of your finger in an instant being able to augment this stuff. And in this video, we go even a step further here in a moment, because we have a picture of this woman on the beach. We're going to magic erase her that thing, and then we're going to actually move her, and generative AI is going to fill in. How crazy is that? Fill in the space behind her with data that doesn't exist. It's going to fill that in. Then they're going to change the sky, not just put a filter on the sky, guys. They're actually changing what clouds are in the sky, drop a filter on it to make it look like you were in that golden hour, and now you have a shot that, again, doesn't exist in the real world. This never happened. Is that a bad thing? Now, they talked about this stuff several months back at their last event, the event, I believe, where they announced the Pixel Fold. Here's a shot of this lady, and she's trying to put her hand there where the waterfall is, but she's off, so they long press on her, and they move her over to center it the way that we want. Again, we're using AI to fill in data that just doesn't exist. It's creating it. This one absolutely blew my mind as well. Okay, this is not well centered, so what are they going to do? We're going to use AI to fix it. We're going to long press that and drag it out, and it just created the rest of the bench, the rest of the balloons. Now you have a usable shot. This stuff is absolutely incredible. I keep banging on this nail. It's not real, though, and that is something that does upset a lot of people, right? We are going to live in a world, we kind of already do, but it's going to get way more like this over the next 2, 3, 4, 10 years. We're going to live in a world where the photos you see, you're going to take a picture with your phone, you're going to go bloop, 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 and you're going to have something on your phone that is totally dissimilar from reality, and then you're going to post it onto whatever, we're posting stuff to in that particular year, and no one's going to be able to tell any different. And I think we have to contend with, what does that mean? And is that actually a good thing for us to be doing? And when I say it's going to be everywhere, I mean it's going to be everywhere. Even if you say, I'm never going to use any of that stuff, I'm just going to snap the photo and be done with it, even that won't be able to escape it. It already can't. You pull out your phone, you take a picture of that delicious slice of pizza that you're about to devour out at the restaurant, and your phone actually recognizes that is a slice of pizza, and then it will use AI to determine what aspects of a good photo of a good piece of pizza, what those aspects are, and then it's going to apply them to your photo. It's going to change those colors a little bit. It's going to change that saturation, the sharpness. It's going to use AI to give you the best possible photo that it can come up with of that slice of pizza. Take a picture of the sky. It's going to do that. Take a picture of the moon. It's going to do that. AI is already in these phones, and it's only going to get stronger and stronger. Personally, this is what I think, because I've asked the question, is this good or bad? You can answer in the comments down below. I'm not going to answer that question because I don't think such a thing is good or bad. I just think that it is. I don't think we can apply a moral standard to it, but I'd love to hear what you guys think about that. Here's what I think is going to happen. We're going to have to just shift the way that we think about photography. And I'll give you a good example here. Let's go to Google, and we're going to use Google Bard to answer this question because I love, is that irony? Probably not. I asked Google this question. What are some different styles of painting, right? We have Impressionism, landscapes, everyday life. We have Cubism, Pablo Picasso. We got Brock. Okay, just odd, weird-looking things. Surrealism, Expressionism, abstract, pop art, photorealism. We have all these different ways that you can paint something. And no one looks at Expressionism and says, that's not what a person screaming on a bridge looks like. Their head's the wrong shape. Their skin tones are wrong. Photorealism is the only way to paint, don't you know? Nobody talks like that. We all accept you can paint in many different forms, and it's all art. It's all fine. we're going to have to start looking at photography in the exact same way. We're going to have to just let go of this idea that photorealism is the only way that photography can be. We're going to have to just get over that hang up. And why not? What's the difference? What's the difference between intentionally painting something in the surrealist form versus taking a picture of someone and then moving them over and then deleting a thing behind them? What's the difference? Well, the difference is that it's more difficult to paint, that this is too easy. Is that the problem? Does art have to be hard? If that's your stance, I don't know how you justify that either. That seems like a very subjective stance that art must be difficult. I don't think that really makes sense either. I think that this is a thing that we're just kind of hung up on because of our preconceptions, our prior notions, what we're bringing into the conversation. But I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, prove me wrong, I guess, I don't think it's something we can really justify rationally. Photos have to be real. Why? That feels an awful lot like a metaphysical claim that I don't think there's any real way to root in reality. Photography has to be real because that's how it's been and that's how I prefer it. It's pretty much all we have there, right? Like I said throughout the video though, guys, I would love to hear what you think about all this in the comments down below. Are we taking photography the wrong way? Is this wrong in some way? Should we be doing it in other ways? Is there something valuable to be preserved that we are now losing? Perhaps. Talk about it in those comments down below, guys. Subscribe for more content just like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.